Hi moms, welcome back. There is a lot of planning through pregnancy, anticipating what are going to be the changes that are going on, what are the changes around your house, in your career, with your marriage, in your identity, and then you get to the plans for delivery. What's going to happen, who's going to be there, what are your requests. Then you talk about postpartum plans. Who's going to be at the house? How are we going to take days and nights with the baby? What are going to be the schedules? But some of the anxiety, you've heard me talk about this in so many of the videos, that come up in the planning is all of the unknowns ahead. And one of the big unknowns we're going to talk about is, how do I adjust when it's time to go back to work? You've set the date for your return to work after your maternity leave, but you've got knots in your stomach. You're losing sleep over it. It's hard to concentrate. You're just looping and looping about how is it going to be? How am I going to handle it? Am I going to be good at my job? Am I going to be good at being a mom? How am I going to juggle this? So today's episode, we're going to look at those factors. And I've got 10 solutions for you. And then, of course, I came up with a bonus solution, but I liked the nice even number of 10. So stick around till that last bonus tip. We're going to look at what are solutions to decrease the anxiety that you're having, decrease the tension that you're having, have a solid plan in place, and find the best ways to take care of baby and you. Here we go. Welcome back, moms. My name is Kathryn Gardner. I'm a mom of two. I'm a therapist that specializes in working with moms and pregnant moms and counseling. I'm also a health coach, so we talk about the health and wellness of your body and mind on this channel. Today we're going to look at 10 solutions about the anxiety that you have of returning to work. I wrote down what are some of the key issues that moms have brought up of worrying about, I'm panicked, I'm obsessing and looping about returning to work. What do I expect about the transition? And then what do others expect of me? Oh, I'm nervous about my sitter situation. How much can I prepare? Is that the right person? Is that the right daycare center? Am I going to be able to trust them? Are they going to bug me all day long with questions? How am I going to deal with the separation anxiety? It's just been me and baby all of these weeks or months, hopefully. And unfortunately, I'm going to be separated and fearful and thinking about them all day long. How am I going to prevent burnout? That's a lot to pack into the hours of the day and night. Taking care of the newborn, the baby's changing, teething, changing feeding patterns. How am I going to do all of this? How am I going to handle being tired or brain fog, having no stamina to get through the day? Another worry that comes up from moms, I'm feeling behind it. How am I going to handle taking care of the house and doing 100% at my job? And where is there going to be any time for me? Do those sound familiar to you? Are those things that you've been anticipating that return to work plan, or maybe it's coming up in the next few days, or you've already started to return and it's not going smoothly, so you reached out to look for some tips. So here are my 10 solutions to cope with that anxiety that you're feeling about returning to work after baby. Number 1, what is your mindset? Pre-baby, you might have had this work ethic of I'm going to stay long hours, I'm going to be reliable and dependable, I'm going to be your A+ employee, right? Well, I'm going to look at that and say it's time to shift that to a C+ mentality. And before you panic and you say, no way, I didn't like getting C's in school, there's no way that I'm going to juggle my life with a C. But I want you to look at this as a mindset of a temporary time in your life where you're not going to be able to get A's. Oh, I know that puts a knot in your stomach. But what you're looking at is, how do you do your best, which maybe to the boss and to the rest of your team, that would be at C+ level. You're on time. You're following through on deadlines. you're completing the tasks that are needed of you. So you're not dropping the ball, but you're not at your usual standard. So shift your mindset. Tip number 2, stop the guilt. Guilt is from all of those internal messages that we tell ourselves about should. I should be this kind of wife. I should be this kind of mom. I should be this kind of employee. And I don't know, we get those shoulds from something on Instagram or some other mom that's some rock star, and you think, oh, that's how I'm supposed to be. But you're filling yourself with an expectation that may not be realistic to you or your situation or even your baby, what the temperament of your baby is or the sleeping schedule of your baby. And so when you set yourself up for these shoulds, we are filled with a lot of guilt. So we're going to drop the guilt. Because think about it, as you're returning to work, there may have been 6 people who were jumping in to do your job. So they're just grateful to have you back. Do your best, listen to what the expectations are. Tip number 3 is to always ask for help. Never suffer. Never put yourself in this position that says, it's all on me. This is all my responsibility. There are lots of helpers. And maybe you need to sit down with your spouse and look at how are the two of you dividing things up? Who else on the helping team can be there to help? But it's not only on you. So always ask for help. So tip number 4 is, I know that you're anxious about going back to work and you're nervous about that time away from baby. So have some mindful moments with baby is the tip. Because you're going to cry. You are going to be upset. It is going to be hard to do this. That's a natural instinct of yours. And you want to take a look how throughout the days leading up to your return to work from FMLA or maternity leave, and then in those few weeks that you're back, how can you get the most quality time that you have with baby? So it's not about quantity, it now is about quality. Making sure that you're getting that skin to skin. Do those long bubble baths with the little one. Singing, reading to baby, just sitting and laying and holding your little one. Those are all the pieces where you're filling up your bucket and you know that you are bonding and still attaching and connecting right to your little one. Tip number 5 is have a plan with your spouse. For you and your partner to be clear with each other, this is a new transition. This is the bigger kids and the baby, or if this is your first child for the baby, we're looking at, okay, now, if we're both leaving the house or we both have work hours, right? Right now during COVID, a lot of us are working from home, but being clear, how are we going to divide up the 24-hour day? Are we sharing wake times at night? Are we looking at the chores list, right? I tell couples, sit down and have a meeting at the kitchen table. These are all the cleaning things. This is all the stuff that has to get done in the morning before we all fly out of the house. How can we split it up? Be clear that you're on the same page and that you're both sharing in that responsibility. Number 6 is to have a shadow day. You've picked who's going to be the caregiver, whether that's a family member or grandma, whether that is a sitter that you've interviewed and hired, whether that's a daycare center that you're going to be dropping your little one off at. I want you to feel confident and trusting that they've had a shadow day with you. And grandma may say, but I know your house and I know what baby needs. But you say, but you know what? These are the things that I do in little details. Or I want to walk you through everything through my eyes. Or grandma, this is just going to make me feel more comfortable. So please bear with me and do this shadow day with me. Watch how I do the diapers. Where do I put messy clothes versus clean clothes? Right? Because I always say, delegate to your helpers. What are the things that they are putting away? The dishes, some extra laundry, flipping it between the washer and dryer eases your day. Picking up things when the toddler has been crawling and dumping out every basket in the shelf. That helps you, mom, so that you're not walking back in to the tornado. Ask your sitter to send you some happy, sweet pictures throughout the day. That really used to warm my heart to see, okay, baby's doing okay without me, because there are certain ages when the toddler gets bigger that they cried as I cried as we were leaving each other. And I wanted to be reassured, okay, they're in good hands and they've bounced back, they're doing well. Get those pictures, especially at the pumping times. If you're breastfeeding and you're pumping while you're at work, sit and look at those photos and smile and let those pictures help you during your pumping time. Tip number 7 is following up from that communication that I've talked about before. You've been communicating with your spouse, you're communicating with the sitter, communicate with work as well. Set a return to work meeting with your supervisor. Sit down and talk about who had what roles while you were gone, what are the current projects, what's the most urgent things for you to tackle when you return, so you're not feeling like you're lost or doing things that really weren't that important as you returned. Talk about any hours or scheduling that you need to request of the boss so that they know ahead of time. There are no surprises, which leads us right into tip number 8, and it's that meeting with your teammates. If you're a teacher or a nurse or a therapist yourself, and you say, okay, I need to talk with the others about what are they doing or what can they expect from me as I come back into the meetings and into the work that we've been doing. Make jokes, use humor about your brain fog or how little sleep you got last night. Other moms, other families that have children, they understand. They've been there themselves. So use humor to talk about, oh, sorry, did I forget to put that away? That's just my brain fog again. You're tired, you're juggling all of this. So let them know that you know that that's happening. And again, this is all temporary. These will be things that as you adjust and get used to balancing this schedule, you'll have it. Tip number 9 is self-care time. One of the things moms say to me the most in counseling sessions is, but I look at the grid of the day, what time I have to get up, my first pumping, getting baby in the car, getting to work for my meetings, getting home, cleaning up whatever happened throughout the day, getting dinner, bedtime, and I just crash. I said, but I know there's no time, it looks like, in the schedule to recharge yourself. Maybe the things you were doing on maternity leave, some quiet reading, some stretching and yoga and exercise. So take a look at, one of the things I did was I would ask the nanny to stay a half hour longer in the schedule so that I could get in my exercise time or I could run an errand. Think about how you can use the helpers as they're already in place. It's okay to take turns with your spouse and saying, all right, Tuesday nights, I get to do my bubble baths, and Wednesday night, he gets to go and play his game on the phone. Those are things that you're dividing up that everybody needs and deserves their self-care time. You could use that self-care time for journaling, writing out a worry journal. What's on my mind? What do I need to do tomorrow? What is it I need to tell the next pediatrician visit? What are the things that I have all flooding in my head because they drain you? You've seen some of my other videos on self-care in 1 minute or things that you can do in journaling. Those are all tips that will help you. Tip number 10, and remember, stick around for that bonus tip. I thought of one more. But tip number 10 is about your nutrition and wellness. You are drained. You're probably not getting an adequate amount of sleep. I can guarantee that. Your nutrition might be on the go, a bag of Doritos is your entire lunch, and you're feeling drained. When you're breastfeeding and pumping while at work, you're taking those best first 500 calories and they go right to the milk supply. So there's really nothing else left for mom. So take a look at what kind of snacks every 2 hours that you're planning at work. In my drawer, I would have a granola bar, handful of almonds, a raisins trail mix, little Special K protein drinks, right? Those were drinks that I knew I would get the day's worth of my vitamins in so that I feel like, all right, I'm getting enough for me and for baby. You're going to recharge with your grown foods, right? Any of your green vegetables, adding them into the sandwich, adding them into a little snack on the side, and munchy foods, setting up Ziploc bags so that you could just grab and have them all throughout the day as your food. Make sure you're getting in enough water. You saw my video on energy and foods that are going to replenish you. Water is so key to staying hydrated and clear thinking because your body is nourished from water. Don't forget that multivitamin. If you're skipping foods, even if you think you're getting in the best quality foods, we may not be absorbing the vitamins like we need. We need a multivitamin to keep us going. So look at these tips, right? I've been sharing things on how to communicate, how to prepare, how to think ahead. I want you to put down in the comments below, what is your anxiety about? When you think about returning to work, what are some of the things you've been worried about? And here in our Tranquility Moms community, we can give each other suggestions and encouragement as we go through this time. The last bonus tip that I have for you is to join in with other moms in encouraging each other. We are not doing this alone. We can vent and cry and share with each other our worries and our hardships and even our sadness. So reach out to the girlfriend that you have. Reach out to your best friend or your sister. Reach out to your mom or your mother-in-law. They get it. We're other women and moms who have been through these same exact transitions. Join a mom's group. There are a lot on Facebook. There are working mom groups that you can join in with others that have had this type of stress. If the stress seems really high, maybe it's time to talk to a therapist. There are therapists that specialize in working with pregnancy and postpartum, how they can help you and even assess how high or low that mood and anxiety is getting for your body and your mind. Every episode, I give you some mom work. That's homework for you to take one of these tips this week. One of the things I would suggest as your mom work is write down one of these 10 solutions, plus the bonus, of what you'd like to start applying right away. And you say, this week I'm going to work on a plan for that tip. That's going to be my place where I set my goals. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kathryn Gardner. I invite you to subscribe to the Tranquility Moms channel. Each week I put out new videos dealing with anxiety and wellness that give you tips all throughout your pregnancy and postpartum and in motherhood so that you feel like you can control anxiety and find your tranquility. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Today, take care of yourself.